Ever wonder why you feel like you're working harder, but you're still not moving up? Well, I'm here to share with you that the answer to your problems is most definitely not more. Certainly not more effort. Effort doing the same things you're already doing that are not getting you results. Maybe you've been overlooked for a role that you thought you were going to be getting. Maybe you've been in a pre or post-acquisition event and you can see that there will not be a position for you in the future, either in the near term or in the long term, whether the company acquiring you or the private equity investment is going to actually make sure that they extract all the information from you before finally dumping you to the curb. Well, I want to tell you there is a hidden formula, and it's definitely not about the effort. As I said, it's definitely about skill development. And do you have the skill development to navigate the change? It's definitely about the attitude you bring, and I'll explain what I mean by that in this video. It's about creating more value. If there's one thing I share with my community and the people I work with is, you got to work on you got to work on your relationships, but you've got to create something of more magnitude. So if you're not bringing any value and you're just administering the role of the company, playing with the machine and making the money for everybody else, you're not going to get what you like. And that impacts our energy. And the energy we bring to everything is exactly what we can expect in return. So if we aren't feeling healthy about what's happening to us in the external world, either with our employers or our bosses, our managers, our peers, our colleagues, then guess what? We're going to get that in return. The universe is going to reward us with the same way that we're feeling. It's just going to give us more of that. So this framework is a hidden formula, if you like, to resolve all of those problems. High impact problem solving is what's going to get you to the next level. But if you don't understand how to get below the line with your problem solving, you're always going to feel stuck. You're always going to feel frustrated. So it doesn't matter if you change your environments, if you move to a new role or you move to a new company, it won't be long before this problem evolves again, where you may be standing underneath a manager who just is terrible. Let's face facts. You're probably watching this video up until this point because you have a terrible manager, or you don't believe in the vision of the manager, or the presentations that they give to the organization are terrible, or maybe you just can't believe that they're absorbing everybody else's information and presenting it as their own. And that's a challenge. When you start to see this going on, let me share with you this framework. So this hidden formula is going to get you changing your gears so you can move yourself forward. And I want to share this with you today. So you get this, and this is the kind of work I do with my clients and my community. If you're interested in having any of those conversations with me so we can move you faster, then let's jump in. But I want to give you the framework, and let's take this and see where you go. So first thing is, every time there's a problem in the external world, an event, maybe you are the result of an acquisition or a merger, maybe you've had some leadership change, your manager's changed, your boss has changed, there's always a response inside of us to an external event. And what that typically feels like and looks like is negative dialogue about the event. So we're constructing a monster, we're building a monster in our mind, and it actually comes to create emotions and impulses. So we start to feel emotional and impulsive about it. And we have knee-jerk reactions is, well, I could just leave this position. Remember what I already told you, that isn't gonna fix it. Not unless you change your identity at the same time, but most people don't do that. They're still the same person. But your other emotional response is, no, I wanna see this out. I wanna see this to the end. And so you're gonna hang around feeling emotional, negatively telling yourself the same story every day that this isn't the right place for you. I'm very familiar with this framework. This is what my story was. It's the story of, I would say, the top 10 or 15% of the clients I work with, the people who make the biggest progress, is that they have this story, this construction based upon responses to a problem in the external world. And that's an issue, because I want to give you this one-liner. Please write it down. Every external problem is an internal problem. It's something going on with you. And as I mentioned at the beginning, attitude and energy, developing value, creating value, and skill development, these are skills that I'm talking about. The ability to solve those high impact problems. So that's the first thing, responses. You kind of make a note. We have these emotional responses and thoughts. The next thing that happens is typically then we create issues based on those responses. Now those issues can be accurate, and sometimes they are, but I would say not many of them are. We actually then create inaccurate issues, and you may have found yourself complaining, judging, venting about specific things that you're finding challenging in your life. By the way, yeah, this could be in your life. It doesn't need to be in your career, but I'm talking to you as a business professional. I'm expecting you to understand exactly what I'm talking about and feel it. That this is what's going on for us inside of our corporate life, inside of our relationships, inside our conversations with partners and vendors and suppliers. All of this is going on for us. And so we create this inaccurate picture of reality. And that's where most people stop, but not you. I know that you want to solve high impact problems. So I'm going to give you a little formula here for how you do it. That's above the line. The responses and the issues, that's all above the line. It's the venting, it's the complaining, it's the emotional feeling, and knowing that you need to make a change, but you're not sure how. And you're not sure what the first step would be. And you're not sure who to ask. And so you don't. You ride it out, hoping that things will get better. And if you've seen any of my content, you'll know that hope isn't a strategy. You'll need to have some faith, which is that ability to see things that haven't happened yet. Hope isn't going to get you far at all. So let's talk about this first item. So there's a problem. So what? Yes, there's a problem. I want you to write down the answers to that question, so what? What are all the consequences of this external event? What is all the possible scenarios that can be going on for you or anybody else who's experiencing this? So I want you to write down a full list, understand all of those consequences. And then for every single consequence you write out, we're going to move to the kind of fourth section of this framework is think about all of the alternatives. And let me share with you, with consequences to any problem, there are normally 10 or 20. And if you spend enough time on this, let's say you spend 10 or 15 minutes thinking about a specific big problem in your life, you're going to find 10 or 15 consequences of continuing to think about it with the same thought process, same emotions, same inaccuracies as well as accuracies, and what that's going to do for you. You're going to feel that as you go on, but you get the consequences written down. Some of those will start to be a signal to you, a signal for you to act. But for every consequence, I want you to write down every single alternative. And for every consequence, there could be 5 or 6 alternative ways of viewing this, or most importantly, changing your behavior. Because there's this thing I picked up from a guy called Nick Peterson called the intention intervention gap. Our intention is what we say we will do. But the intervention is what our behaviors say about what we do. And so there's this gap between what we want and actually how we behave in the real world. And actually those behaviors is what gets us the complete opposite often of what we want. So let's say you want a really healthy relationship with your boss, your behavior doesn't drive that. You want more money in your bank account or you want a pay rise, your behavior doesn't drive that. You want to find a new company or get employed. Maybe you're out of work right now. I've been talking to tons of people who find themselves unemployed right now. If that's you, it's your behavior that's the problem. You can say what you want. I want a new job so I can get some income and get myself back on my feet and then climb inside an organization. But the problem is the behaviors you're using to get the job are not right. And that's why it's proving to be so difficult for you, because you haven't gone through consequences and alternatives at a level of depth of skill development to get you where you need to go. So I wanted to share that with you. If you've got some questions on that, drop that in below the comment here, comment on them. I want to make sure that you're armed with frameworks and a hidden formula like this one that's just going to help you understand that if I can modify my behavior, I can develop some new skills, I can approach things with a different attitude, I can bring my more value, actually create more value, and that instinctively or just automatically will change my energy. So I trust this takes you to the next place for you. I'm willing for conversation, of course. I said in the middle of the video that you can reach out to me anytime, and I recommend you do. If there's anything in this video that connects to where you are in your career or life right now, we really should be talking, because in a 30-minute window, I can probably give you enough value, maybe 5 or 6 ideas that are going to get you moving. And the momentum is the most important thing to me. The other thing is just to encourage you and advocate for your success. All I care about is you win. I don't win unless you win. So reach out to me and we'll go from there. Anyway, that's it for now. Cheers.